Hello and welcome to the Nova Show Real Estate Records. My name is Tristan Hammet and I am your host for today's episode. And today we're joined by Jeffrey Daniels, a Salt Lake Valley native and top 500 realtor. Coming from a family of real estate investors, Jeff brings unparalleled market expertise to buyers, sellers, and investors. With a background in commercial construction, including luxury projects like City Creek Center, he's built an impressive career in real estate, listing and selling over 225 properties. Jeff is here to share his journey and top tips for success. Stay tuned. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Tristan, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me
Absolutely.
and
Coming.
for being here. If you guys are watching, today we're actually in Jeff's brokerage, which is a really cool concept. I've never seen anything like this. It's also called the Iron Pine Garage. So
Correct.
give us a little brief history about where we are.
Well, so my business partner in my company also owns this Iron Pine Garage and Social company. And so technically it's Keegan's company that we share the space with. But it was
What,
kind
I
of
did not know
that. Yeah. So he owns Iron Pine Garage and Social. Obviously, we help out. The real estate company brings the people through the door every single day so they get the exposure to his company. And then they do partner with us on all of our events. So we throw some sick car shows and bring all of our clients to our client appreciation events, but they're all partnered with Iron Pine. So we get the car community involved as well. So that's kind of really cool.
That's sweet.
So yeah, that's why we get to, so the brokerage leases the whole space and then we sublease to Iron Pine Garage and Social.
Okay.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right. Well, let's back up because I actually do not know Jeff. I think I met him on a corner in downtown Salt Lake a couple years ago.
Sounds a little sketchy.
No. So I actually don't know Jeff at all. And so we're going to get to know him together.
Okay.
So Jeff, tell us about where you're from, where did you grow up, and how did you get into the real estate business?
Yeah, a lot of people think I was an Army brat because before moving to Utah, we lived all over the place. It was actually just my dad's corporate job that took us all over. So I was born in Denver, I've lived in Texas, California, Philadelphia, and then to Utah. But that was all before third grade.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much grew up in Utah. Grew up in Sandy, went to Alta High School.
No way.
Yeah.
I live right above Alta.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
So you're in my old stomping ground.
Yeah, I love Sandy.
Yeah. So my parents, if you know where the entrance of Hidden Valley Country Club is off of Wasatch, they're just north of that.
Oh, that's nice area.
Yeah, we're just right
really
there.
Nice area.
So that's where I grew up. Went to school, played basketball in high school. Then went to college at UVU.
Okay.
Served an LDS mission in southern Brazil. And when I got back from my mission, I was actually the general manager at the Jungle Gyms Playland in Midvale, Utah.
Really?
Yes. A good friend of mine owned that company. And so while I was going to school, I was the general manager over there, ran that company for him. And then got an internship with Oakland Construction, where I was in my commercial construction career at Oakland at the City Creek project, and was at City Creek for 4 years, worked at the Salt Lake City Public Safety Building for 2 years, and decided I wanted to change. The construction industry is great in terms of learning. You learn a lot, but it is a life-sucking industry, in my opinion. So I was trying to get my degree, going to school full-time, and working full-time. So I was to the job site by 6 a.m., done at 4, night school until 10 or 11, 4 days a week for 3 years, and got completely burnt out. Was like, just wanted scorched earth, just wanted to burn everything down. So I was venting to one of my buddies. I was like, man, I just hate this construction stuff. I need to do something different. My health is bad. Like, I'm not happy. And he's like, dude, you're a salesman. You talk, you're charismatic. You need to be a sales guy.
You really are.
Well, thank you.
I've met you a couple times and you really are.
Well, it's funny because my imposter syndrome doesn't think that. So I'm still working.
Really?
They're like, oh, you're so eloquent in the way you speak. I'm like, I think I sound like an idiot, but that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, we'll talk about imposter syndrome a little later, but okay, let's do it.
Oh, yeah. So it was actually Taylor Brinton. I don't know if you know Taylor. He's also in the real estate space. He was my partner at Influence Realty and Relocation, the previous brokerage before we bought it and renamed it. So he convinced me to get into the real estate space. And he was like, yeah, you should come work for me. This was when he was on the REO team with Charlotte Thomas at Keller Williams, the largest foreclosure and REO team in Utah.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I think I'll do that. So I went to my dad and I was like, hey, I I might get into real estate. Now this time my brother was already in real estate.
Okay.
So he is with a luxury builder in
It's your brother?
Brian Daniels.
Ye-
So Brian is at J Craft Homes. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we can say that on the podcast.
I don't know. We'll edit. But,
But
oh, wait. I was thinking someone else.
not Ben Daniels.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, no, that wasn't the home builder. Okay.
No, Ben, yeah, not I get asked that a lot. Brian Daniels,
Okay.
brother,
Okay.
luxury home builder. And so he had gone through the recession and everything and had lived that. And my dad was like, well, actually, I think it's a good idea. I was shocked.
Wow.
I was like, you really want me to get into real estate? He's like, yeah, I think you'd do good. So grandpa was a developer, real estate investor. My dad, when he retired, became a real estate investor. My brother's been in real estate his entire career. So we come from a family of real estate related stuff. So kind of was natural to jump in. So
Yeah.
I got enrolled in real estate school and 5 weeks later quit my job.
Wow.
So I was married, had a house, had bills, had all the stuff, and was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to just jump in.
All in.
All in.
Yeah.
So 2 feet off the diving board, right into real estate, and just got on the team, the Charlotte Thomas team, which I kind of got my start and was just cold calling like old leads, and actually got my first deal done within like the first 30 days.
Wow.
Which is
From
not
calling.
just from calling. Just everybody. I was trying to get help from everybody. And the funny thing about real estate, and we'll kind of get into this, is why I've built my company the way I have and why I approach it this way, is because the trauma I had early on in my career of reaching out to find a mentor and people to help me, and got a little bit of help, but mostly everybody was just kind of doing their own thing.
Like fend for yourself.
Yeah, fend for yourself. It's
Yeah.
like super just I guess there's a word I can't forget, but it's like, yeah, everybody's just there. You slay, you eat what you kill, right? And so everyone was kind of doing their own thing, and they're just like, oh, just call my old contact list. So I was getting like these old lead lists from years past, and I was calling hundreds of people a day. Finally found someone. They're like, oh yeah, we're actually interested, and had the first deal, got the paycheck, and was like, oh wow, this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I can do this. So just dove in that first year. So I started in 2012.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about how long ago this was.
Yeah. So
Okay.
2012.
Wow.
Yeah, 2012. So 2012, jumped into real estate and got in August of 2012.
Okay.
From August to the end of the year, I had made more money than I had made the previous year, my entire salary.
Wow.
So I had closed like 7 deals from August to December. And then
Were those all cold calls?
they were mostly cold calls. 2 of them were like referrals from my database, like just people that I had known. And one was a family member deal. So, when your dad throws you a bone, is like, hey, you want to sell one of my investment properties for me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll sell that for you. So obviously he helped out a little bit. But so yeah, I just kind of was like, okay, I think I can make a career of this. And I just went all in on real estate. So that was in 2012. And in 2013, our team at the Charlotte Thomas team, there was like 3 or 4 of us that got recruited to come work at a company, a boutique brokerage in Salt Lake. It was more of a luxury boutique brokerage. I'll try and keep names out.
Okay.
I'm working for you. So we got recruited, moved over, but I was the low dude on the totem pole. Like I was brand new. I was like 26, young. Didn't get any respect, which was fine. I mean, I was like, okay, whatever. Moved over to this company and realized they had a really great brand, but they had no substance, like no infrastructure, no back end to like help the agents. And I mean, you found out, this little podcast setup, I'm a little bit of a tech nerd.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, I could like help these guys build a back end, like a back end to help the agents. Like, what do agents
Like, are you
really need?
talking like CRM systems and processes, or what do you?
Just helping everybody just build a brand. Like no one knew how to build a personal brand.
Okay.
I'm like, you guys, like, you don't even have a website. You don't even have a personal logo. Like your email structure isn't correct. Your calendar is not linked up to your like just people were having tech problems.
Yeah.
It's like, so I just started helping people just because that's like my nature is I feel validated by the fact that I can use my skills and tools to help other people. That's one of the reasons anyway, I won't get into that. That was the reason I named some things and their name is because of that's what I like to do. But so I just started helping people. It eventually turned into I became like the director of operations for the brokerage. and helped grow that company from, I think I was agent number 13. So anyway, so kind of fast forward, that's kind of the boring part of like my real estate career was like helping build that company, but there's some substance to it. It kind of makes sense to why I do what I do now. So I was just helping agents, like experienced agents, like guys that were having big books of business that didn't have CRMs, they didn't have any organization, they really didn't have any systems, but they were still successful. I was like, dang, I can help these guys like help, build their businesses. So the company saw that, but I started helping other people so much that I wasn't selling real estate
Yeah, you weren't
anymore.
focusing on your own.
I wasn't focusing on my own business. And I was like, oh crap. Well, I need to make money. So I started, exploring some options. At this point, I was a partner in the brokerage. So we had grown to 2 offices. I was agent 13. I believe we were up to 84 agents in 2 offices.
Wow.
So we had brought on some other partners. I started to look at some other options, just looking. I wasn't, just seeing what was out there. Our partnership, well, the owner got a little bit of a word of what was going on and unfortunately didn't come to me to ask, actually was asked to leave the company and just ousted. So my partner ousted me out of the company,
Jeez.
which was kind of sucky
Yeah.
and really dumb, honestly. It was kind of a bad situation, to be honest, but had helped them build that company. And they had a couple months later, they ended up exiting that company and selling the company.
Oh. Oh.
So yeah, that was just another little twist of the
It,
dagger, like I was like, well, whatever. So at that point, I moved over to just like a flat fee brokerage and was just doing my own thing, right? Just whatever. And business was good. Like business was great. That was 2016. 2017 had a record year,
wow.
biggest year I ever had. Because I was just like, I'm just going to focus on my business.
Yes.
And when I say my business, what I decided to do is just focus on my clients. Like, how can I serve my clients? How can I be a better resource for them, provide them information, opportunity, help, resource? And I focused my entire time on just connecting them with whatever they needed.
Okay.
I was like, you need a pest control company? I got that. You need a carpet guy? I got that.
Yeah.
You need this
So these
type
are
of
past clients.
these are just past guys and friends, like
Eh,
just
Okay.
everybody. It kind of became a joke of like, oh yeah, Jeff's got a guy.
Yeah.
Jeff's got a guy.
You always want a guy.
Yeah, he always want a guy.
You want to be the guy that has the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just started connecting people.
Okay.
And that was it. I was just like, look, if I can help everybody else in whatever they're doing, I think the universe will reciprocate and help me in what I'm doing. And put it to the test, and it worked.
For sure.
So 2017, record year in real estate.
So what were you doing? Like calling your,
I was just trying to,
how are you letting them know that you like got a guy? You know?
yeah,
Like you're
so
reaching out to them.
reaching out periodically. So I've put together kind of a very unique, personalized plan that I use in my sphere of influence. I call it a 52 touch program.
Okay.
Like I've developed it myself for I mean, there's so many things in our industry, in title and real estate and mortgage. It's like, oh, do this, do that, use that CRM, and I'm almost like, all this stuff is just designed for you to spend money, and it works if you work it, but it's not the magic. It's like, I relate it to like the health and food industry with like fad diets. There's
Mm,
fad technologies in real estate.
yeah.
It's like, oh, if I use this, my business is going to blow up. If I use this, my business is going to blow up. I'm like, doesn't matter the tech. Honestly, it matters the people.
Yeah.
Like it is
Touches.
the touches. It's a
Yeah.
relationship based industry. It's a service industry. So whatever system you have, if you use it to build deeper relationships, it will work. I don't care what it is. If it's an email program, video program, calling, whatever, as long as you're building deeper relationships with your clients consistently, it works. And I was like, well, I don't need all that fancy crap. I'll just build my own. And it was literally just a series of events that I do throughout the year. I invite people to client appreciation events. I try and reach out. I try and send them mail, and I just try and be involved in what they're doing. Just literally be curious in what's going on in their lives. Not like, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing. It's more of like, hey, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I be involved in some way, shape, or form? Oh, you've got a business? I want to refer you business. Oh, you've got a charity? I want to donate.
I've always thought that it's like such a simple thing, but makes such a huge impact. Just calling your SOI, your friends and family, like,
Huh?
how can I support you? What do you do in your business? I can refer to you.
Yeah,
You know, and it
100%.
helps them, and they're like, oh, Jeff really cares about me. You know. Like he's sending me business all the time. I'm going to send him something,
100%. I call it psychological debt.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, but the thing is, it's not like a selfish endeavor of like, oh, I just want to build all this psychological debt so people will just refer me. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I actually want people to succeed.
Right.
Like I really feel like if like the sea rises and all boats rise with it, like it just makes the industry, it makes just your life better,
Yeah.
right? If everybody's succeeding, you can not even just in business, in life, and that's been a big focus for me lately. Is aside from the businesses, how can I help people in their personal lives? Like everybody has something going on in the back end that we don't see on social media, that we don't see, that they don't let us portray, that they don't portray, that we don't know about. I want to know about that stuff. Like I want to be the guy that's like, hey, you got this going on? Well, I have a resource for that. Because we have resources for more than just real estate. Like that's what I've built my business on. And I've tried to go deep on my personal development stuff. And we can get into that a little bit if you want to.
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
for sure do.
So I joined a men's group about 3 years ago that completely kind of changed my trajectory, which was interesting because people have always said, like, if you needed something, call Jeff. Like my family knows, like, you need me to help, you need to move a couch, call Jeff. You need a truck to move a couch, call Jeff. I'm just always available to help because I feel like if I'm useful, I have utility, I have purpose, I have meaning, right? If I can help somebody, I have a purpose.
Yeah.
Um, and so I joined this men's group, but it gave me a deeper understanding of what I was searching for with helping people.
Okay.
Like it really was more of like a validation of myself, but it's gone a lot deeper than that, that I've found all these tools and resources to help me and my mindset and my mental health, that I was like, I need to share this with people. Like I need to share it not only with my clients, but my agents that I mentor and I train and I coach, because I could give them my business program, my 52 touch program, give them all the secrets, so to speak, even though they're not secrets. I share everything with everybody, give it to them and watch them not do anything with it.
Right. Right.
And I was like, well, maybe it's not what I thought it was. Maybe it's not like, hey, they needed this tool or they needed that. I'm like, what is actually the motivate? Why are they lacking motivation? Why are they lacking purpose? What are they lacking in their personal lives? Because this is like easy stuff to do. It's not hard. If you're committed and work like honestly 4 hours a day and just work committed, you'll make money in real estate.
Yeah.
As long as you're just committed and you're consistent. Like if you do these things, you'll make money.
Right.
And they wouldn't do them. I was like, why are these guys not doing stuff? And then as I started to ask more and more questions and dive deeper and deeper, I was like, oh, because you've got this going on with your partner, or you've got this going on with a mom and dad, you got this going on with imposter syndrome, and you don't feel like you're enough. And so you don't feel like you're worth whatever is going on and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of like a big, huge shift I was kind of already doing that in a small scale. That it was like, I need to make this the focus of my business. Or I need to make this the focus of what I'm doing moving forward. If I can help people find out those things, that's what's going to change their business. That's what's going to change their lives. So that's where, when I was at my old brokerage, I was a partner there, and I was like, you know what? I need to make the changes, but I can't make the changes. But yeah, so I was like, well, I can't make a change if I don't own the company completely. So a couple of things that happened in 2023 that gave me the opportunity to buy out my other partners. So I bought out the other partners, rebranded the company with kind of the messaging and the purpose that I wanted to portray to everybody.
And that's where we're at now.
And that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm focusing a lot on the development of my agents in their personal lives, not just business. It's health. Um, there's actually we just did a retreat up in Bear Lake. So I took the agents up to a retreat up in Bear Lake. It's a planning retreat where for a full day, we take and analyze, and this is something that I learned in my men's group and just kind of passed it along so we took them up and we have them analyze themselves in 9 areas of their life, right? It's not just like, in fact, it had almost little or nothing to do with business. It was, how's your health? How's your mental health? How's your key relationship? How's your family? How's your spirituality? Like those things that matter. Like how's your circle, your inner circle, your outer circle, all those things that matter. So they had to measure themselves in those areas, and then we create goals for those areas. And then at the very end, we create some business goals. But most of what I found is people won't perform, or they just don't have the desire, the motivation, unless all of the other things are in alignment. So that's the big focus for me, is like making sure that my agents are focusing on those other aspects of themselves.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, because I know quite a few of the guys with your brokerage on your team, and you just attract like-minded people,
Mm-hmm.
and like who better to work with than people that you just get. And it's so much deeper.
It's way
It's
deeper.
not surface,
No.
it's way deeper. Like this is a brotherhood. Like and the guys, I don't really know any women on the team, but I know you.
You need to. They're
Yeah,
awesome.
I know you have them, but I
Oh
only
yeah.
know like the guys on the team. But it's just like you guys just have this like brotherhood that you can tell you're much more connected than a typical brokerage.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so as an outsider looking in, I totally see that, and, I just love that the name of your company and everything just goes along it just goes along with, your values and who you are
Yeah.
and who your people are,
A
you know?
100%. And that was the biggest thing, was like, what have people really sat down and come up with an architecture of their values? Like, have you ever done that exercise yourself?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good for you.
I work with Nudia, so
Oh, that's true. True. That makes a lot more sense. We'll talk off camera about that. Because somebody that I know very, very well is that way. Uh, so that was the thing, is like most of the people, like, they haven't had the exercises of sitting down and really understanding what their values are. What are your value structures? Not your parents, not your religion, what are your core values? And so we had to sit down and go through some exercises and help our agents figure those out. And then do those for our business too. What are the core values in the business? And it's basically the core values of the business are very simple. It's providing a level of service different than everybody else. And then focusing on understanding the needs of the client, and then building deep and meaningful relationships, and continuing to add tremendous amounts of value.
yes.
Those are the 4 pillars of my business.
Wow.
And that's the acronym of what we stand for.
Okay.
And so that's what we came up with in the name, and that just relates into how we do everything. It literally feeds into how we do everything.
Yes, and then you're reminded.
Mhm.
Just anytime that you know what I mean? You say your brokerage name, you're like, "Okay, I'm reminded of why I do this and who I'm doing this for,"
Exactly.
you know?
And so that's where it's like, I see real estate, it's an opportunity to serve your community, right? It is an opportunity to provide an experience that is going to allow someone to expand themselves. Like, buying a house is not just walls, and it's not the physical house itself. It's the life that's lived in the house. We have an opportunity as real estate agents to be able to help people find their home. And I think that is huge.
Yes.
And I don't think people get the gravity of the situation. Most agents don't. And most people think that most agents are just out there to make money, right? Yeah, it's our job. We need to make money to provide for our family, but it's a tremendous opportunity to help people find the homes that fit their lifestyle, that help them become more than what they currently are. And that's what I focus on. So I try to ask questions to my clients much deeper than, hey, bedrooms, bathrooms, whatever. It's no, like, why are you moving?
Yeah.
What is the motivation? Oh, we need better schools for our kids. Well, what's wrong with the schools you have now? Oh, well, Jimmy's getting bullied by blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. And we dive deep. We go deep on those things and realize, okay, these guys are trying to move out of this neighborhood to get into a better neighborhood. They're doing it for their kids, 100% for their kids. And I'm like, great, I want to meet your kids. I want to know who they are too, and know what house they're going to be living in, and understand all the aspects of your life. What pets do you have? What hobbies do you have? What extracurricular activities do your kids have that we need to help you with? That's the other thing, is we had the opportunity to do a bunch of relocation and relocate families to Utah. And that was the most fulfilling thing, because we got to then find all of the things that family needs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's so much more than just a house. It's like all the things that you do in your life. Like, I mean, imagine, besides living in your home, I mean, you and I are here. We're going to spend, I don't know, 4 hours awake, 5 hours awake in our house. Then we go to sleep, we wake up, we go out. What's outside of the house, in the area, the community, the environment that we're in? That's also important.
Yes.
So it all kind of ties into like the mission of the company, and the pillars in which we stand on. And you're right, it has just attracted like-minded people.
Mhm.
We really haven't had to go out and recruit.
Yeah, you're not working with, like, a-holes,
No.
you know?
No, they're great,
Yeah,
great agents. I mean,
that
it is like you said, it's funny because you said brotherhood. We do have a lot of women at the brokerage, and it is a family. It really is. Like, when we get together at team meetings, when we get together at these retreats, and we get to experience outside of work life, um, we get to see each other on a level that most people don't see their colleagues.
yeah.
And so it's an opportunity to connect really deep with the agents in the office, and that's what creates that family-like environment.
Yeah.
I know them a lot more than just the transactions they do or the business they do. I know who their parents are. I've met their parents. I've met their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife,
Yeah.
kids. I've met all of them. I've spent time with them, and I've been in the trenches with them. And we've done, at these retreats, we do breath work together. I've seen them open up emotionally. I've seen them cry. I've seen them, plead for help. I've seen them do all these things, and that creates this connection, right? And so that's what I'm trying to build within the company is that environment that helps people, my agents, bring that to their clients and then helps their clients improve their lives.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal of what I do.
I love that. And just, like, the mission behind, like, you and your company and your brand. Um, I kinda wanna talk, like, a little bit about this men's group because I feel like
Yeah.
for like, men, it's harder to be, like, in touch with, like, your emotions
Mhm.
and things like that.
It's not cool, is it?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but I just feel like a lot of men feel that way. Like, I need to be, like, tough and I need to, you know what I mean? So to be, like, in tuned with, like, your mental health and your physical health and, like, your emotions, and I feel like that could be really hard for some men that might be needing that,
Mhm.
but just don't there's, like, this wall up
Oh,
where
wait.
you don't wanna let it down,
Mhm.
because then people are gonna see you very vulnerable, you know? So it's like, how do you how who how would you tell somebody, like, maybe that's listening or, like, a gentleman listening, that it's okay,
Mhm.
and to, like, get in tuned with your emotions, and I know mental health is huge for men,
It is.
you
It's
know?
really huge.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I'm trying to focus on and help, um, the women and the men because I think it's big, but, I can relate mostly because I've experienced life as a man, right? So I can relate a lot to what society pressures are on how we're supposed to be.
Right.
And breaking that mold with the help of my men's group and all the learning and understanding that I've done, and then being able to, it's interesting. We're supposed to, in public, wear this armor of not showing emotion, right? And just be these strong, know what we're doing, steadfast, which is great. That's fine. Um, but in the privacy of your own personal life, you need to understand your emotions completely and, like, really dive into them and understand them, because if you don't, they end up controlling your actions. You make emotional decisions, you make emotional reactions and responses to things because you don't know how to control them and you don't understand them. So when guys say, "Oh, that's kind of a feminine trait to be emotional," I said, "No, it's actually an extremely masculine trait to be emotional. What's not the masculine trait is reactionary to the emotion."
Mhm.
Right? So being steadfast, understanding right in this moment, you're like, I am just enraged and I want to scorch the earth. But having the control to not react and do anything is a very healthy emotional response. And that comes with sadness, happiness, joy. Now you can choose to show those healthy emotions. And people are like, well, isn't it not healthy to not show emotion? I said, there's a different, you can feel emotion and not show it. That's different.
Yeah.
There's actually a book that I tell everybody to read called The Untethered Soul.
I've heard of this book. I haven't
You
read it, though.
I'm sure you have because everybody who's read it will give it to anybody that they come in
Oh,
contact with. So, it is a phenomenal book. It talks about that emotional process, but, yeah, for men, we're told, don't feel emotion, don't cry, be steadfast, and I think one of the reasons is because we feel that if we are that way, it provides safety and security for the women in our lives to feel like, "Oh, yeah, he's got his stuff together." Well, it's interesting, and you could probably speak to this. If that person was more steadfast in understanding of their emotions and could control those and show those, you actually feel a deeper sense of safety and security because that person is emotionally safe and secure.
yeah. They're not just gonna, like, lash out and.
Yeah, they're not gonna lose their temper.
Yeah.
and they're not going to make rash decisions because they actually have those emotions in control. But if they don't feel them and they don't acknowledge them and they don't process them and they don't work through them, then they are reactionary. Then they do lash out. They do lose their temper. They do make decisions based on horrible emotional responses. So I tell men, like, they think it's weak to be emotional, and I'm like, you become the strongest when you're emotional, right? There's that saying that better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war, right? So you train as a man to be a warrior, but that's not just physically, that's mentally and emotionally. You train to have the control over your mind so that when things do get tough, you can perform, right? And if you don't train that emotional side, that mental side, whether it's meditation, whether it's study, whether it's reading, you're not going to perform when things get difficult. When you get overwhelmed, when something hard in life happens and you buckle, and everybody thought you were the big tough guy just because on the exterior you show no emotion, well, you're going to break easily because you're not emotionally strong. So that's a lot of what I've learned from the study and from the men's group I've been a part of. It's a 2.5-year journey that I was on with my men's group. And there was 50 men in that leadership group. And it's continuing now. There's 6 leadership groups of 50 men.
Wow.
It's huge. And then there's also a subgroup of hundreds of men.
And now you guys have women too.
We do.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a women's group, and they're doing awesome. Obviously, the messaging curriculums all were different creatures, which is amazing and beautiful. So I think it's cool that not everyone's put everybody in a box. Men can mostly relate on most of everything. We are individuals, and we all have our own individual journey. But for the most part, there's the main concrete foundational issues that men deal with in society. They're universal across. I mean, we've got guys from all over the world that are members of this group that we all deal with the same stuff in our families, in our businesses, in our personal lives, and learning how to deal with those, approach those, and process those so that we can become better business leaders, better husbands, better fathers to our kids, our wives, and the people that we coach and mentor.
Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah,
I
that
think
is.
I think everybody should have a coach of some sort. If you are in a position of management or authority within a business, that you are working on your personal development more so than just business.
So what I love about this podcast is I get to meet so many incredible people that, and there's so many different ways that you can run a real estate business.
Mhm.
I mean, so many, and it's beautiful. And that's what I love about this. And that's why it's so fun to do these podcasts because um, I get to learn about you and your business and your family. But one of the common denominators that I have found in this podcast is like a coach.
Mhm.
You know, it's a mentor, it's a coach, I mean, you're investing in yourself,
Correct.
but that I'm so glad that you brought that up because that is
Yeah. If you think you can go at it alone, oh my gosh, you're so wrong.
yeah.
Like, you get tunnel vision and you get an outside perspective of somebody who's looking, 50,000 feet up on what you're doing. And so, after the men's group, the 2.5 years was done, I was procuring my next coach. Who's going to be my next coach? And what part of my life do I want to focus that coach on? So, the men's group was very generalized. We got to work on all aspects of ourselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, business, finances, all of that was in that program. And then I was like, well, I really want to focus on really making my business efficient. So my next coach was more of a business coach.
Okay.
So I've got a business coach right now. We're in a 2-year program. We're doing those types of things. Now, I haven't stopped doing the personal development stuff. Like, we still do a ton of that. But I was like, this is part of my life where I feel like I need to focus energy. So I'm going to go find someone to help
Yeah.
and hire that individual. And coaches aren't cheap, especially the good ones,
You're right, right.
right? But when you look at the ROI on hiring a coach, it is a no-brainer. They can help you scale. They can help you get to the next level in every aspect.
Yeah.
So
Why do you
finding,
think that is?
well, I think people just having a perspective that is outside of yourself, because your brain, your your headspace is really designed to just make you feel safe and secure, right? And you will self-rationalize to make you feel safe and secure. But it's when you're out of your comfort zone where all the growth happens. And that person that you hire should force you into those uncomfortable situations.
Yes.
And it's hard for you to push yourself into those uncomfortable situations. And that's where I think a coach really comes in, because if they're a good coach, they will push you above what you think you're capable of. And they'll push you to do things that you don't want to do. That makes your central nervous system go, ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, if it's uncomfortable, it's growth.
Yeah.
And then it becomes comfortable and you're like, oh, I leveled up a little bit. I'm a different human being. I have more capacity for this. And so I think that's where, if you don't have somebody that's able to push you and hold you accountable, there's very few people in the world that are able to do it by themselves. I mean, you look at elite performing people, they have coaches.
Right.
They all do. And if somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm self-made, self-this, bull crap. I kept it PG for you.
Thank you.
They've always had somebody there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there could be a few, but I'm not going to, Kobe Bryant did a lot on his own, but he had phenomenal coaches. He had phenomenal players around him. He had a lot of people helping him, right? Became one of the best basketball players in the history of the game. Always had a coach.
Right.
He hired he had a coach in like his personal fitness. He had a trainer, chef, in his food, mental. He had a emotional coach. Like, he had tons of people helping him. And that's where, if you have those teams helping you, you're going to perform. So I tell every agent, if you don't have a coach, go hire a coach or a mentor.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, you're right.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about like your daily routine, because I know, being in this men's group, you do a lot of personal development. So what does like your typical day look like?
Right now, I'm off the wagon. I will be honest. Oh yeah. We actually just moved. So
Oh yeah, you did just move.
we did just move. So I will tell you, when things were pumping, because this was like a couple of months ago, we're getting back to that routine. So my wife and I, we actually talked about this last week. We are like, hey, we got to get back into our normal routine. Because what I have found to be true is, we're all in different seasons of our life, but we all have a tendency to be like, oh, if I did this morning routine like this guy does, I'll be successful like this guy is. So I'm going to wake up and I'm going to cold plunge. I'm going to sauna and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to do yoga and then I'm going to go to the gym and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm like, that's like 3 hours of processes in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't have that time.
Yeah.
And that's great that they're in a season of life that they're able to do that. So this is just a message to all the people that have said, oh, okay, the morning routine, like, if I can do all those things, I'm going to be, no, there'll come a point in your life where maybe you can do that, right? We're independently wealthy. You've got your time back. And yes, you can spend your time doing those things. Phenomenal. What I would suggest, and this is what I was doing, is I would wake up and the first thing I would do is study. So I'd grab a book and read. So get my mind kind of going, right? Not grab my phone.
Okay.
That used to be the first thing I would do. Wake up, grab my phone, boom, sucked into work already, sucked into messages already. And I'm at that point, my nervous system was going nuts, reacting. Because when you grab your phone and you're looking at that email, that text message, that's whatever, now you're just reacting to fires, right?
Yeah.
It already puts you in a sense of fight or flight.
Yeah.
So what I was doing is, I'd wake up, read, just go grab a book that I was reading, and usually it's self-development stuff.
Okay.
Grabbing something that just is good for the soul, sit down, read, journal for a little bit, meditate, pray.
Okay.
That was it. And then, depending on the day, go to the gym and go get the physical part done, or go on a walk, or decide to do yoga stretching in the house.
Okay.
So, I'm getting a little up there. So I'm a little bit more concerned about longevity than I am overall strength. So I don't need to deadlift, 500 pounds anymore. I actually need to get my body loose. And so incorporate a little bit of yoga into instead of going to the gym 5 days a week, we incorporate a little bit of yoga. But yeah, some type of exercise. So it was work the body, work the mind, work the soul. Those would be and it doesn't have to be tons of time. Like, it could be a 5-minute meditation, it could be 15 minutes of reading, and it could be a 30-minute walk.
Right.
Boom, you're done in 45 minutes. That's it.
Yeah. Did you read Miracle Morning? There we go.
Miracle Morning, I've not read it.
You haven't?
I will have to put it. There's a stack of books that I have to get to. When everybody sends me a book, I order it on Amazon immediately.
Okay.
So I will, Miracle Morning?
Yeah, Miracle Morning. And he does have one specifically for real estate agents. Okay. I've only read like the original one.
Yeah.
But that's when I was doing the best in my business,
Yeah.
was like the morning routine,
Yeah.
and just like, does exactly like you said, it can just be a couple minutes each way or whatever, but just get it done and just start. That's how you start your
Yeah.
day off, right?
What was funny about it, because I was doing the whole cold plunge, the sauna, the everything. It was like a 2-hour ordeal in the morning. It was causing anxiety because I was late to getting to my business. I was late to getting to some of the other things. I wasn't spending the morning with my kids before school, and I was having guilt about it. And so I was like, this doesn't,
So it was actually causing stress.
it was causing stress, which was interesting. I was like, okay, this doesn't serve me. So I analyzed and I changed it. Right. So now it's more of a pretty melt. Now, when it fast forward in life, maybe a couple of years from now, I might be able to add some of those things back to where, oh, well, I've got processes in place at the company that I don't need to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I can roll in at 8:30, give myself an extra 30 minutes. That might add some of those things back. But I think people just feel like if they have that morning routine, that is the key to everything. I just think having something to get your mind, body, and soul started,
Like taking care of yourself.
taking care of
If
yourself
you're not
first.
okay, your business, your partner, your kids, like no one else is going to be okay if you're not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I say there's a saying that I've selflessness, lead or no, I was saying this the other day and now I'm botching it on this, but it's a lot of people are so or selfishness is not selflessness. Maybe I was saying that the wrong way, but a lot of people are so selfless, they forget to take care of themselves. And if you're not performing at your peak level, you can't give other people your peak performance, right?
Right.
So you're running at 80%, 70%, 60%. That's what you're giving everybody else.
Yes.
So focus on yourself in the morning. So if you need to get up earlier, if you need to do whatever you need to do, just focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're able to show up for those people that depend on you to show up. So that's kind of like my biggest thing. So I am working the one thing I will say is that I have implemented that I still do. So my brain goes 1,000 miles an hour. So, I've got that special ADD. It's like ridiculously like, I mean, I have to have my assistant's like my babysitter. She just has to, in fact, I had one up there today working with me and she just sat there and she's like, what am I here to do? I'm like, you're just here to make sure I'm on task.
Yeah.
And she was just there for an hour and a half and I was on task and I got so much done
Yeah.
because my ADD would pull me a million different ways. But calming the mind is huge. I think that's a huge type of thing. But yeah, I guess the morning routine is your time. Oh, well, I was getting to that was, again, there's my ADD kicking in. What I was saying is I had to create a process for me to to slow my brain down and get everything that I needed to work on in a day out in front of me so I could see it. And I researched all these planners and all these. I mean, I researched Steve Jobs' time blocking process. So I researched like Steve Jobs' time blocking method. I researched all the people, like what do they do to stay productive and do all the things that they're doing? Because these entrepreneurs have so much going on, right? How do they keep it all together? So I researched and I was like, well, that piece works for me, but that piece doesn't. That piece works for me, but that piece doesn't. And I built my own planner.
Okay.
So I built my own planner that I sit down every day. It starts with gratitude, always. So I have to write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I write down the 3 most important tasks of the day.
Okay.
So if I get these 3 things done at minimum, I feel like my day is successful.
Okay.
So those are the 3 most important things. Now, with those 3 most important things on the side is my calendar. If those are the most important things, where do they fit in? Because I have my meetings, I have this, I have that I've got to do today. Well, when is the time that I'm going to knock those 3 things out? And I put those in. And then I put them on my digital calendar so that my assistant and everybody knows, like, hey, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Like, don't schedule anything for me. I'm doing these 3 important things. And then those 9 aspects that I talk about where it's, health, mindset, there's these little icons that I have. And so as I do something during the day, if I meditate, there's a little meditation icon, I check it off.
Okay.
There's a hydration icon, check it off. Nutrition icon, check it off. Exercise, check that off. Key relationship, did I do something for my wife to show her she's special today? Check it off. Did I nurture my network? Did I meet somebody new? Those things are there, and I take accounting of those during the day. And then I have appointments set, conversations had.
Okay.
Did I set any appointments today? And then did I have any conversations related to my business today? And then I have a brain dump section. That is the section during the day that if something pops in here, it goes down. If something is that I'm like, oh, I need to do that, but I can't get sidetracked because of my ADD squirrel, you know,
Yeah.
just write that down and it's there. It lives there. I know it. I gave it space and now it's out of my head and I can focus on those important tasks that I have. Once I have those important tasks done, I move to that brain dump section. And if it's important, I start knocking those out.
Yeah.
So I do that every day. And then,
I need to see this, and I'm smiling because I've gone through this whole planner thing
mhm.
and $27 and all this stuff, and it's like, this isn't, like, exactly what I need, but it ended up being, like, a $7 planner, and it sounds very you have a little bit more stuff on it, but it
Yeah,
does just really, like, calm your mind when you can just, like, brain dump and just,
there's
like, just get it on paper, and then it's, like, out of my mind.
yeah. Basically, I took all the planners, I dumbed them down to the basic necessities
Yeah.
because I think there was so much fluff, so much stuff that's like, "Oh,
Mm,
add this, add this, add this." I'm like, "No one's got time for that.
I need to see your
I don't got time to write about this or write about that or journal for 35 minutes. Like, I don't got that time.
yeah.
I just need to know what I need to do today. I need to be grateful. I need to know what I needed to do, and I need to know when I need to do it, and I need to make sure I'm reminded of these important things in my life."
Yeah.
That's it. And so I do that, and then I have a Sunday planning section where I take a reflection of those 9 areas. So I rate myself during the week, and then I say, "What are my biggest opportunities for this next week?"
Wow.
And I write those down, and then I repeat it on Monday.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll definitely share the plan.
Yeah,
So,
love to see it.
I think making that is part of my morning routine. That's the first thing I do when I get in the office.
'Cause then you know, like, everything that's going on.
Mhm.
Where you need to be, what you need to do, like, just being very organized and like, "Okay, this is the stuff that I need to tackle this week or today,"
Exactly.
and get it done, but you already have an idea.
Mhm. Yep. So I would say morning routine, mind, body, soul, and then do something where you plan out your day.
Love it.
Make a plan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge planner. If you don't have a plan, you're just walking around with your blinders on.
Yeah.
So I think that's my answer to my morning routine
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, and, for your you said you have client appreciation events.
Oh, yeah.
Have you I totally see the value in it,
Mhm.
and so what made you how long have you been doing it?
Long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
was this at before you were at with any big brokerage that was doing them for you?
Well, yeah, that was the thing is the brokerages weren't doing them for us.
Ah,
That was I mean, I won't name drop, but if they met once a year, they've got this gala or this event or this whatever,
okay.
right? Once a year. And I'm like, once a year is not enough. And if you're a solo agent and you're like, oh, I want to go rent out an entire movie theater for my
So
clientele.
expensive.
Yeah, if you don't do it on a Tuesday night, it's like 10 grand.
Yeah.
Like, well, if I do that 4 times a year, that's $40,000. Most agents are not producing to the point where they can drop that kind of money on client appreciation events.
Mm,
So I was doing as much as I possibly could as a solo agent. The brokerages really weren't doing many client appreciation events, but so I did a couple movie nights. I tried to do these things. And when I became the owner of the company, I said, what we're going to do as a company, we're going to provide these client appreciation events that our agents can invite all of their clients at little to no cost.
yeah.
So we do 4 at minimum huge events, and then we try and do 2 or 3 micro events throughout the year. So we try and do 8 is our goal. When we moved into this space, we did a grand opening cars and carnival event. We had over 2,000 people here.
Holy cow.
Yeah. We had about 150 really nice exotic cars. We had carnival games, rock climbing wall. We had a pizza truck, a soda truck. We had tons of sponsorships. And the way I've structured those is all of our preferred vendors are involved. So, our preferred, builder, title, mortgage, lawn care, tree service, you name it, all those service industry professionals that we, like I said, refer business to, I invite them to come participate.
Yeah.
So they come and participate, they get to promote their company to all of our clients, and they get to see and mingle with all of our client and
Yeah.
database. So it helps their businesses grow, it helps the clients know that we've got support, but it's a huge benefit for the agents because to throw a party like that, they would be spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
So leveraging our network, leveraging our resources, putting that on for the agents and saying, invite your database, invite everybody. And then we did a trunk or treat. We actually called it a frunk or treat,
Okay.
given the Porsches behind us. And at that event, we probably had another 500 to 600 people. We gave out, geez, we gave out 500 donuts. We gave out hot chocolate, tons of candy. And it was just invite everybody.
Yeah.
So my goal next year in 2025 is to throw the largest trunk or treat in the state.
Oh, cool.
So that's my goal. So I'll
Okay.
keep you posted on that.
Yeah, I'll have to
But
come.
so and we're going to be doing a movie event sometime in the spring. We're going to be doing a barbecue sometime in the fall. And so that's the client appreciation events are those opportunities where you get to spend time face to face with the clients. Because once you go through it's kind of hard, like a relationship during the process of buying a home. It's very intense for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And then after they buy the home, you live separate lives, right? If that family's not in like your inner circle and they're an acquaintance, they're still a friend and we still love them.
Right.
But it's like our lives don't overlap as often, right? So it's like, hey, but I still care about them. I still want to see them. I still want to know what's going on. Social media is great to see what they're doing, but seeing them in person, getting to have that moment, be like, hey, loved seeing your daughter do the thing in the soccer. Congratulations on winning state. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, but there's opportunities to see those clients at least 4 to 8 times a year. Like, that's huge. I told myself when I became the owner of the company, that is a non-negotiable for me. Like, that is a huge thing I think that the agents get access to
Oh,
through
for
the company. Yeah. So those client appreciation events. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a must too.
Absolutely.
Where do you oh, I had a question. See this I had a question when you were talking and then I was like, "Oh, so we have you're at the client appreciation event. It was going to be about how to do with Keegan. Dang it.
How did me and Keegan meet and become partners?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Oh, that's actually a funny story.
Oh, I know what it was going to be. It was going to be about social media.
Oh,
But
social media?
yeah, and like how you and Keegan make your videos and they're like funny and yeah. So that's what it was
Well,
gonna
you
be
know what's funny about that is this is my perspective of my own social media is I should do way more. Like, I don't put the amount of effort and stuff I used to. I used to. Keegan does a really good job at it.
Yeah, he's a
He's phenomenal at
yeah.
it. So again, that's a little bit of the imposter syndrome I got to get over, which is kind of funny because like right now I feel like it's not there. It's not a priority for me.
Yeah.
So it's hard is where this is twofold. Okay. So I see other realtors in my industry that have become more content creators than they have become realtors. I'm like, you're producing and sharing more content than you are selling and actually doing home sales.
Right.
And I'm like, there's got to be a balance. It's like, yeah, you do nowadays, you kind of have to be a content creator to get your personal brand out there since most of the attention is going on to social media. But at the same time, if that's all you're doing, you're not selling homes,
Mm.
in my opinion, unless somebody is getting their business from social media. But I don't really do as much, like most of my business, even actually hardly at all comes from social media.
Okay.
Most of it just comes from my personal relationships.
Okay.
So it's word of mouth referral, my client, my database that I take care of, my SOI, my sphere of influence that I work. But social media is just there for me to continue to add value, in my opinion. Like, I need to share pertinent information and also give you a glimpse into what I'm doing, what my personal life and what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, Keegan's really good at the comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like we're a great pair when it comes to that. It's just that it's not top of mind for me. But he's like, hey, let's shoot this video. And we sit in, we both get in character, and it just flows.
Yeah.
Which is a whole like,
Remember what you guys did? It was like a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago.
was it our rush?
But it was like this, and this is why I wanted to do it here. I saw you too, and I was like, I want to do it in the garage.
Yeah. Where we were like, oh, do you want to come to our Salt Lake Riddle Producers event that's going to be here to where?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny because that was just us riffing. Like we had no plan, no script. We were just like, hey, what are we going to do?
Oh, and then you and Michael Boswell. That's also what I'm
yeah.
remembering. You guys were doing a lot of podcasts.
Oh, and we're going, as soon as the podcast studio is done at the office, that's starting back up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So no,
Yeah, I moved too. I would just like watch and I'm like, oh my.
there's hours of footage that's probably not appropriate to put out there into the public. So, but yeah, it's just that's where I think it's really cool to share personalities and stuff like that. So when we made the move into this building and we've been doing the TI build out, that's why I haven't been able to set because this is just temporary space, right?
Yeah.
Once we have a permanent space, like my goal is to really get back into it.
Yeah.
To get back into it, to share what we're doing, share what's on my mind, and you know what? If it resonates with someone, great. If it doesn't, then I don't really care either way, right? My thing is if I can help one person overcome something that's worth it
Yeah.
for me. To share, be a little bit vulnerable about my own life, my own experience, a big loss I had or a mistake that I made and learned from. if I can help somebody else not make that same mistake and still learn the lesson, awesome.
For sure.
Well worth it. But yeah, so it's just, yeah, that's funny you said that because I met Keegan through Mike.
Okay.
That's how I met Keegan.
Okay.
When he was at Edge Homes and we did a deal together, and then I was kind of watching his career, and then a little birdie kind of told me he was thinking about leaving his other brokerage, and I called him and he ghosted me. Didn't even answer my, oh, actually he's here. He just got here. Yeah, he ghosted me. I was like, what the heck? This dude, he probably thought I was just trying to recruit him to become an agent over at the office. And a couple weeks go by. I'm not very pushy either. Like, I'm not a very pushy salesy guy. Like, I'm not like, like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. I never want to be the one that, like, you should never force anybody into a decision. You should help them arrive at the decision and the conclusion on their own, but by providing the right perspective and information for them
Right.
to do it, right? So I didn't want to push Keegan into anything. Little did he know I wasn't calling him to recruit him as an agent. I was calling him to vet him as a business partner.
Oh.
And so he was like, 2 weeks later, he calls me. He's like, hey man, sorry, let's go do lunch. I was like, cool, let's go do lunch. So we're at lunch and we're talking and I'm asking some questions and he looks at me. He's like, hey, hold on. What was the purpose of the meeting today? I was like, actually, it was to vet to see whether you'd be a good partner for my company as I decide to, scale it and change it and grow it. And he's like, oh, I thought you were just going to recruit me as an agent. I said, no, I actually think that you would be a good business partner. This is with the first conversation. He was like totally taken back. That led to probably 9 more meetings and about 30 to 40 hours together of going through deep, um, moral, personal, ethical, foundational stuff of whether we'd be a good fit. Because unfortunately, we've both been burned in the past with bad, not bad business, just business partners that didn't see the same vision.
Yeah.
And so it's really refreshing to have somebody that shares the vision that I have and the drive to make it a reality, and that cares as much as I care about not only the agents we service, but the clients that we serve. So it's really kind of cool because it is not so much just a business relationship, but it's somebody I respect and hold on a really high standard and can actually call out and make sure and hold him accountable and expect that he does the same to me.
Right.
So, which I think is really cool to see what we've been able to do organically. We've doubled the size of our company without like trying to recruit,
In a
honestly.
short amount of time too. You haven't been here that long.
No, I mean, I rebranded the company in March of 2024.
Yeah.
And at that time we had like 23 agents. And so from March until now, we've doubled the size. Obviously we've got new space. We're growing. We've increased our sales in the company and changed a lot. And there's still a lot of work to be done. Like we are just at phase 1.
Yeah.
So there's a lot on our roadmap over the next 5 years to grow the company and to provide a tremendous amount of value to the agents. That's my focus. Like
I love that.
the one thing I realized and I think brokerages have some sort of valiant idea at the beginning of, what they need to do. And then these large companies just kind of lose a little bit of that personal feel. So we don't ever want to get big to the fact that we have hundreds and hundreds of agents. We want to get big to the fact that we're producing high gross selling agents, the best agents in the industry that are producing and making change within our industry. So change the industry from the inside. But we have a limited number of like some of the top agents that are just killing it because they're focusing on themselves. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
When you're at a place in your business that that you're helping others grow,
Oh yeah.
you know?
That's my whole focus.
Yeah.
Like if I can't help these agents grow their business and become better people, what is my purpose as a brokerage? Just to transaction count? That's shallow.
Yeah.
That's just so surface level.
Yeah.
Like there's the train.
The train.
We can go hop on the train, go down to,
Salt Lake.
yeah, go down to Salt Lake, go see a hockey game. But no, but yeah, that's really, it comes from when I was early on in my career. What did I need? I didn't get it.
Yeah.
No one gave it to me. No one so I was like, well, if I was early on in my career, what would I have needed? That's what I built. This is what I'm trying to build for these agents, is like something, a platform, information, a mentorship, a coaching program to at least get them going, get them started, helping build their businesses with the right core values. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the focus, but
And let's talk a little bit about that because I know we're running out of time, but
yeah.
So what would you tell your new agent self? Like any advice?
My new agent self. So, well, it's funny because I'm a very data and very analytical. If you've taken some of the personality tests, little owl in me in terms of, I don't know if you've taken them.
I haven't taken that one, but I want to.
Yeah. Well, we've got it. We
I've
actually,
done the disc.
okay. So we do, that's the funny thing. So when we do like our sales trainings, we do disc stuff. Like,
Okay.
so we'll give the disc profile test, we'll give some of the other tests, and we teach these agents like what their tendencies are so that they're aware of what their strengths and their weaknesses are so that they can better serve their clients and have better conversations. So anyway, if you're looking for that kind of coaching, yeah, come on over.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, that's what we offer. Like we want to dive into that. But new agents, what I tell new agents, it is a business of relationships. Your focus is to build meaningful relationships. And people will do business with you when they like you, they know you, and they trust you. So to be likable, you actually just have to be yourself. That's the key to it. Like, just don't be fake. Don't put on a facade. Don't put on the mask. Just be authentically you. And the people that like you will be drawn to you. The people that don't like you won't be drawn to you, and you probably don't want to do business with
Yeah,
them anyway.
exactly.
Totally fine. So be yourself. But they need to get to know you. And to get to know someone, you've got to put yourself out there. You got to get rid of the imposter syndrome. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be a little bit vulnerable. And that was one of my trainings today was like, you know what? Someone will have more respect for you when you actually show some of your weaknesses and not just the good parts of you. Like if you're just showing your wins, if you're just showing the good stuff on social media and that's just all you're portraying, no one knows who you are. They just know what you want them to see, right? People will connect with you. Like if you go out and he's like, hey, I made this mistake and it sucked. And here's the lesson I learned. That resonates with more people on a deeper level than anything else. Instead of just like, oh yeah, we're killing it. We're doing awesome. We're doing this. And I sold this and I did that and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, this guy's a douchebag. Like, oh no, this guy, like, if you share a little bit about yourself, so then they get to know you. Now, the trust comes, I think, when you actually do what you say you're going to do. That's with like the character side of things.
Yeah.
So if you can portray that you've got good character and good integrity, that's what I focus on. Like if you run your business with integrity, then they'll get to the trust part. And that's what I train my agents. So put yourself out there, be authentically yourself. And if you have integrity, you're going to have success in this business.
Mhm.
Those are the things I coach on at the very beginning. And then we get into all the details of like, oh, the CRMs, the processes, what you do. But if they're not committed to doing those things, I won't take them.
Yeah.
Go work at a different company.
Yeah. And that's good.
Yeah. Show up authentically yourself, have integrity, and be willing to work hard.
Yeah. I love
Very simple.
Well, Jeff, we could talk. I know we could talk about like so much more.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you coming on the show and you setting this all up
Yeah.
in your shop and at your brokerage. And where can people follow you?
So people can follow me at jeff.daniels on social media on Instagram, or you can search my name's Jeff. That's my call name on social media. So yeah, Instagram is probably the best way
Okay.
to follow me there. I need to get on TikTok a little bit, but that's a time suck.
I don't know TikTok.
So anyway, but yeah, on social media, that's the best. DM, and then usually through once people send me a message, I'll usually send them my personal cell phone and honestly invite them to out to lunch.
Okay.
So I love to just take people out, get to know them, get to understand their story, see who they are, and see how I can help.
I love that.
Yeah.
We'll reach out to Jeff.
Okay. Well,
All
thanks,
right.
Tristan.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate, failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.